Today's video is going to be a little bit different, and it might come across that it has a political and a racial undertone, but that is not really what the video is going to be all about. It is going to be my opinion, an explanation of why we find livestock in our neighborhoods and suburbs, and why I feel that we will have to make peace with it, because it's not going to help to try and phone the authorities in the municipalities to come and herd the animals back to the informal settlements. It's actually just a waste of the money and the time of that person for that day, where that employee's skills could have been used differently on that specific day. Because it doesn't take them long before they find their way back to exactly the same place from where they have been chased. The only farm animals that we have not really seen in the suburbs are sheep. We have pigs, we have goats, and the most regular cows, cattle. Now we have a municipality bylaw that prohibits livestock in the neighborhoods and the suburbs, and they're also not allowed to be obviously on the roadways, but there's honestly not a lot of traffic in the neighborhoods and the suburbs, and if people phone in to complain that they're a hazard on the road, then my answer to that is you are not allowed or supposed to speed in the neighborhoods and built up areas. They actually are looking to change the speed limit from 60 kilometers an hour to 50 kilometers an hour in built up areas and neighborhoods and suburbs. Obviously, a cow might upset you if you are going to come speeding down the road in the hope that you might drive over a guinea fowl or an Egyptian goose, or maybe a hardy-dar. But then that's not really on the cow, is it? That is on you. The only farm animals that we really allowed to have are a few backyard chickens, poultry, basically. The people can't stand the peacocks. I'm sure if I should decide to have a peacock here, that will be a problem, but you are allowed to have a few backyard chickens. But even that bylaw is broken on a huge scale, because I know of houses where they have a whole chicken business going. Definitely not just five or 8 or 10 chickens. There is a limit of how many chickens you may keep on your property. But after 1994, when apartheid was abolished, I think a lot of things have changed. Rules and regulations and legislation is not really a priority for black government. Farming and nomad farming basically is very much part of their culture, very much. So I don't think that there is anything that we are going to be able to do to eradicate what the situation is currently in South Africa. Definitely not. And I'm just going to read here. I'm going to have to put my glasses on. You know what? I've got the stupid habit of putting my glasses like this. And there's a reason for it. When I used to play in the orchestra, I had to I'm nearsighted. No? Nearsighted is when you can't see close but you can see far. I think I always get confused. But in any case, it's reading glasses. So when it's a little bit of a distance further than what you would use reading glasses for, I cannot see through my glasses, it's blurry. So this is the way that I used to wear my glasses, so that I can look at the conductor over my glasses, but I look through my glasses at the music. And it's a habit. My sunglasses are also always running. It's such a bad habit, but it became second nature because I played in the orchestra for such a long time. I forever must push my glasses back because there's no reason for it to sit here anymore. But in case you have wondered, that is the reason why I often have low riding glasses on my face. This is my cat, in case you wondered. So the population of South Africa in 2025 is estimated to be around 63.1 million people. And that is according to Statistics South Africa. South Africa's racial population breakdown for 2025 estimates Black African, 51.6 million, that is 82%. Colored, 53 million, approximately 8.4%. White, 4.5 million, approximately 7.2%. And Indian Asian, 1.6 million, approximately 2.5%. So the ratio I want to look at is 51.6 million, 82%, to 4.5 million, 7.2%. The suburbs are by no stretch of the imagination white populated exclusively anymore. We are definitely the minority. And if keeping cattle are cultural, it is cultural to the black people, for us to start jumping up and down because we see a few cows or one or two pigs or a few goats running around in the old white suburbs, I find is crazy in a way. And I'm not talking about a whole herd of cattle, like 30 cattle or 50 cattle, or a whole farming community of animals in the area. But most of the time it's 5 cows, 8 cows, 10 cows, 2 pigs that got lost, maybe haven't found their way back home. And the goats are basically more directly very close to the informal settlements where they're from. The goats don't seem to stray as much, but it seems like the cows roam. The cows roam a huge area, like they would if they on a farm, but they never stay for long. They never linger for long. You will see them for all of a sudden, oh, the cows came back, and they will be there for about 1 hour, 1.5, 2 hours tops, and then they will move on, and maybe later in the day they will come back. They might hang around for 2 days like that, and then all of a sudden you won't see them for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks longer. And then all of a sudden one day, oh, here's the cows back again. They're actually very, very peaceful animals. It's really very relaxing to sit and watch them for a while. I know that we don't value looking at cows and pigs and sheep and goats because I think we see them as our food. For me, that's a treat, because if I want to see cows or pigs or sheep or goats, I literally have to go to a farm, like Rashid. I think Rashid goes to a farm to spend time with some beautiful goats in Dubai, in that area. He's one of my viewers. It's a channel that I watch regularly. So I need to go to a farm if I want to see cows, goats, sheep, pig or whatever. And it's not like I can just drive onto a farm and say to the farmer, I want to come and spend some quality time with your cows and give them some kisses and hugs, and it just doesn't work that way. So unless you know a farmer well, that you can arrange to go and spend some time or a day on the farm, you don't really see cows and pigs and sheep and goats. So for me, it's always a big treat. And like I said, if you really watch them, they've got a very calm peacefulness about them, because they just lie there and chew on the grass. They don't actually really make a noise either, unless they feel threatened, or when the guy actually came with a whip and the bucky, what we call a bucky. It's a little truck. I don't know what you would call it in America and in the UK, but we have buckies. South Africans will know what a bucky is. And then he must now chase these little 8 cows all the way back to Warmer Township, or informal settlement. I'm going to show you how Port Elizabeth is actually laid out, if you are interested to hang in on the video, and where the settlements are, and why we actually find these animals coming through into the neighborhoods, and how fruitless the exercise really is to want to chase them back to the township all the time, because in the townships there's no grass. There's very few vegetation in the informal settlement areas. The trees are normally cut off for wood in the winter, and gardening is just not a priority. So it's clipper. What do we call clipper? It's stones and rocks and gravel and harsh surroundings. Nothing nice really to look at. So there is no grazing for the animals, but it is cultural, inborn cultural, and some of them would like to have a few goats, cows, pigs, and if they don't keep them then in a enclosed area, which they won't be able to, because then that means they're going to have to go and buy food for them. So there's nothing like a kraal in Afrikaans. I will look up the English for a kraal, where you can keep, where they will keep them. So what they do is they let them roam. It's actually a very interesting concept if you think about it, because they trust that group of animals will stay together, will come home. I don't know how they keep track of them, because like I said, these little herds of cattle actually roams far away from the actual informal settlements. The one cow actually gave birth to twins here next to the creek, if you can remember. So they're also increasing in numbers. That guy didn't even know that his little herd got bigger by 2 until I don't know how many weeks, when they decide they're going to go home again. Yeah, it is very strange. But me myself, I actually enjoy when I see them. I go a little bit crazy and hysterical, and I run for my camera, and I'm videoing it. If this is the greatest thing that the people are going to want to see on my channel, which is not. People, the last cow video, the people didn't really watch. Like I said, I think we see them as our food and not something interesting to observe and to look at. So in this video, I'm basically going to show you how Port Elizabeth is laid out, and where certain livestock animals have been seen, which I actually filmed. I forgot my phone at home today, and there was quite a huge group. There's a group of about 17 or 20 hanging around in Buffelsfontein River. They don't come this far. And I saw them today, but I realized I didn't have my phone with me, so I couldn't really film them. They're the biggest group really roaming around. The others are all like 5 or 8 or 10 small groups. They don't make a noise, they don't bother anybody. They are just there and then they disappear. And that is what this video is going to be all about. I'm going to show you where I've spotted them. Obviously they are in different places. I don't go out very often, so it's not like I'm going to be able to show you exactly what Port Elizabeth looks like on a day-to-day basis with some livestock in the suburbs and the neighborhoods, but it will give you a good idea. And I just feel, let them be. Just let them be. They really not bother anybody. When I do see them here by the creek, they don't really come further down. They stop at the creek. Then I will send Thomas to go and pick up their droppings, and then we work it into the compost to make my compost more fertile. So then they actually bring some wonderful farm compost to my garden as well. So it's also not going to lie around there and attract flies. That's the other thing. Yeah, so I hope you will stick around, and I hope that you will enjoy the video.
These informal settlements or townships can also be called squatter camps.
South Africa.
Now in South Africa it works like this, that the poorer black people will just decide that they are going to put up a shack on this piece of land because it's close to their work and they do not have to go through the trouble to get a taxi. And the next moment there is another shack, the next moment there is another shack, and before you wipe your eyes out you have a squatter camp.
Pigs, people, pigs! Pigs in the middle of Port Elizabeth on the corner of suburbs of busy roads. Pigs! A little black one and a little normal white one. Listen to the sound. Our question is, where did they come from? Where did they come? Do you think they're tame, Cornelius?
No, there is someone
Watching them. You think they escaped from a house?
Yeah, there is something.
Oh. This is a little, or the male, the white one is a male. Where did you ever see that before? And now they're going to cross the road and somebody's going to drive over them. Look where they go. I just needed to show you this.
With BBE, Black Business Empowerment, a lot of white people just lost their jobs. They had to make way for a black person to take their position, and often that black person did not have the proper qualification to actually fulfill the job requirements.
Here they are. They're in excellent condition. I just want to show you all the flies on that one's nose. Look at all the flies there on that nose.
And as a result, a lot of white people found themselves in dire straits, without work, without income, etc. Also, with life that has become so extremely expensive lately, and the dire straits of the economic situation, I think all over the world, pensioners and a lot of white people find themselves in trouble and in squatter camps.
Charlo Primary School.
Busy Carrington Road. But as I have said, white people normally squat on other white people's land that knows about it, and they allow it, and they get a certain amount of help and assistance. Black people just decide they are going to take land. There was this case in Scotland lately, it's all over YouTube, of a so-called black king and his 2 wives, I think he had 2 wives, that just decided that if they can do it in Africa, I don't know if they were from South Africa, then they can go and try their luck in Scotland. And that didn't go down well, although the owners of the farm had to go through a long process, but they finally did get the eviction order. And when the black king, so-called king, and his 2 wives did not want to honor the eviction order, he was taken into custody by the police. That is just an example, but it is exactly the same situation that happens in South Africa. My farm animals in the suburbs of South Africa has now taken a turn, but there is a correlation, and I'm now giving you a short overview of the circumstances and situation in South Africa. In South Africa, evicting squatters is a lengthy and complex legal process governed by the Prevention of Illegal Eviction from and Unlawful Occupation of Land Act, PI is the acronym, which protects unlawful occupiers from arbitrary removal. The total time frame can range from 6 weeks to over a year, depending on various factors, including whether the eviction is opposed. The law requires a specific court-ordered procedure, and self-help evictions, such as changing locks or cutting utilities, are illegal and can result in criminal charges, which means that you cannot stop paying the electrical bill or the water bill for the property that you own where illegal occupants are in. You are then actually becoming the one that's liable now for legal action, although they are the people breaking the law. Very, very interesting dynamics in South Africa.
I don't know your phone, you see my eyes.
You must come here. Ek wil
Check how they're eating.
Yeah. They normally have somebody looking after them.
Don't worry, they just herd them later.
But no, they're in excellent condition.
Yeah,
Surely they won't just leave them, Norman?
they do. And they can fetch them later. But they migrate around like this. All over, you want to hear them at night at the dam there.
But can't somebody
And then the next day they're gone.
steal them?
No, they never get stolen. Never get stolen. This is Africa. They never get stolen.
But now, can I ask
But
you, what is more dangerous, this or the guinea fowl that I feed?
Very good. Very good.
And if I can't feed the guinea fowl, why is this allowed? Why can they?
Yeah, this is just allowed because it's culture.
But it's my culture to feed
Yeah.
birds.
Yeah, it's
So where do you draw the line, and where do you start to enforce a
this is-
bylaw and not?
this is actually a breaking laws.
Exactly.
This is this is an absolute. This
Exactly.
is criminal. This.
Exactly. Exactly.
They're not allowed to be here.
I know. That's why I video every single, and that could have
Look at
been
that.
that could have been a huge accident now because
Yeah.
they just crossed the road.
Yeah.
And this is a extremely busy road.
That's signing no pets.
Ah,
That's quite good.
that is excellent. I'm going to video it now.
No pets.
Amazing.
Can you remember my Bundu bashing video from the top of the Reservoir Hill in Lovemore Heights? Well, this is at the bottom of that hill. The eviction process is not a single fast procedure. Several factors affect the timeline. The length of time the squatters have been on the property is a major factor. If they have occupied the land for more than 6 months, the court will place greater emphasis on whether the municipality can provide suitable alternative accommodation. Delays are common, and the court's role can be backlogged, and application may involve several court appearances. You can imagine the cost involved in all of this for the property owner. Opposition to the eviction, which you will 100% of the time get. If the unlawful occupiers formally oppose the eviction, the process becomes more complex and can extend the time frame significantly. A written notice of the court hearing must be personally served on the occupiers and the municipality at least 14 business days before the hearing date. This requires time to draft, authorize, and serve. If the unlawful occupiers include children, the elderly people with disabilities, or female-headed households, the court is obligated to give special consideration to their needs and rights. This can also influence the time frame and outcome. So just keep in mind that the illegal occupants' rights and needs are now getting preference over the legal owner of that property. So I'm going to sum this up. In South Africa, squatters, that is unlawful occupiers, have no right to occupy property without permission, but they do have the right to be evicted only through a court order, not by force. It is a joke. But why I have put this in is so that you can understand why we do have these squatter camps dotted all over the city, and what the ramifications are of those squatter camps that's not supposed to be there, and why we do find these roaming farm animals in the neighborhoods and the suburbs. And in my opinion, you're not going to be able to solve the problem of the roaming agricultural farm animals in the built-up areas if you do not address the squatter camps first. And in South Africa, that has become an almost impossible task. They cannot remove those illegal squatters from that area, especially if they've been there for a certain amount of time. And if they want to move them, they must supply them with government-free housing, basically. It's just a ridiculous situation I think very few people are actually aware of. So you sit with these informal settlements, and I must add, there are no infrastructure for those informal settlements. There's no toilets, there's no running water,
there's nothing. There's no refuse removal services, so you can imagine what it starts to look like after a while. The problem is not only the roaming farm animals, but it is also the increase in crime, because those people are the ones that will break into the houses, into the cars. It is a very delicate, no, it's not really a very delicate situation, because you can really address it if you want to, but it is not the case in South Africa. I'm trying to walk a panic attack away. I suppose I had to, because look guys, they're back. They are back. They will always come back until the people phone the municipality again to come and chase them. And they're so peaceful. They don't even make a noise. Dis nie die wat laas hier was nie. This is not the same. This is definitely not the same cows. They are different cows. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I wonder if that dog is their keeper. Might be. I think that little dog is their keeper. It almost looks like a little jackal. Which is not, but it almost looks like it. You see, they go down to have some water. The little doggy is definitely part of this. Look there, isn't this so cute? There's the Diederik cuckoo. Thomas believes that that's the twins that were born last time. He's actually right. They're the right size. You see, they're moving on already. They're moving down. No need for the people to throw little tantrums. He's playing with the calves. The twins, but one of these cows aren't feeling well. But there was more than 4 just now. I don't understand this. That's the mother of the twins. And he's the little keeper. He's definitely the keeper. And there's the geese. Thomas says there's 6 little geese. I'm going to... Thomas said there's 6 little goslings. I'm going to look for them just now. Oh, she could be the mother. Oh, she's the mother of that one. And then that one is the mother of the twins. And there's the little Gqeberha. Looks just like a little jackal. He's not hungry. He only took about 2 bites. Hey? He's definitely wanting to take them. But they... Yeah.
Maybe he's not used to eat that kind of food.
He's also chasing the birds around. He's chasing the guinea fowl and the stuff around. But last time they were more. The bulls aren't with him. It's only the cows. There's no bull here. That's fine.